Imagine a life where nothing can touch you, a life where the chaos of the world doesn't shake your inner peace. I wasn't just a martial artist, I was a student of the mind, a strategist, a philosopher. I learned early that true strength lies within. In these 10 principles I'm about to share with you, I'll show you how to make your mind as sharp as any weapon. These aren't just lessons for the ring, they're lessons for life. If you master these principles, you'll become untouchable. Nothing, no obstacle, no emotion, no setback will break you. So, let's unlock the secrets that will make you invincible, just like I did. Ready? Let me tell you something. True strength begins within. To master the world, you must first master yourself. Your mind, your emotions, your actions, all must be in your control. When you can control what happens inside you, nothing on the outside can disturb your peace. The power to remain unshaken comes from knowing yourself completely. I've always said, absorb what is useful, discard what is not. Life is full of distractions, noise, and endless opinions. But if you want to be strong, you need to be selective about what you let in. Only focus on what helps you grow and what aligns with your purpose. Everything else is just clutter. Let it go. When you practice this, you create a mind that's sharp, focused, and unbreakable. You are in charge of what affects you. Your thoughts, your emotions, your reactions, all of these are your responsibility. Choose wisely what you take in. Choose only what makes you stronger. Self-mastery is not about being perfect. It's about understanding yourself, learning from your failures, and becoming better each day. When you master your own mind, no one and nothing can shake you. You become the architect of your own destiny, controlling your path with every step. Listen closely. Strength comes from the present moment. You see, the past is gone, and the future is uncertain. The only time you truly have is right now. If you want to unlock your true potential, you must learn to live fully in the moment. When you give your undivided attention to what's in front of you, you tap into an immense power that most people overlook. When you live in the moment, you stop being distracted by the noise of the world. You don't worry about what happened yesterday, and you don't fear what might happen tomorrow. You focus on the task at hand, whether it's training your body, sharpening your mind, or engaging with someone in front of you. That's where the magic happens. Absorb what is useful, and that starts with being present in every moment, because only then can you truly take in what life has to offer. The moment you stop letting your thoughts wander, the moment you silence the distractions of your mind, that's when you experience peace and power. When you focus on what is happening right now, you become unstoppable. Your energy is concentrated, your mind is clear, and you respond with strength, not fear. Being present is not something you can do once and forget. It's a practice. The more you do it, the stronger you get. And the more you live in the moment, the less the outside world can affect you. It's not about the past or the future. It's about right now. And in that moment, you are invincible. Let me tell you something. Change is the only thing you can count on in life. Everything else is temporary. But instead of resisting change, you must learn to embrace it. Be like water. Water doesn't fight. It adapts, it flows, and it finds its way around any obstacle. And if you can learn to do the same, nothing can stop you. When you face challenges, don't get stuck fighting what's happening. Don't resist. Instead, flow with it. Move around it. Be formless, shapeless, like water. Life will throw everything it has at you, but if you're like water, you will bend, you will adapt, and you will find your way through. Water is powerful in its own quiet way. It can carve through rock. It's relentless, not because it fights, but because it keeps moving. When you face change, whether it's a setback, a failure, or an unexpected challenge, don't resist it. Embrace it. Change is the path to growth, and if you flow with it, you'll keep evolving. When you learn to embrace change like water, you stop fearing what comes next. You stop trying to control everything and instead start moving with life. You become unstoppable because change no longer holds power over you. You become the one who shapes it. So remember, be like water. Adapt, flow, and keep moving forward. Let me tell you something about discipline. It's the foundation of mental toughness. People think discipline is about restriction, but they're wrong. It's about freedom. When you learn discipline, you free yourself from doubt, fear, and distractions. You give yourself the power to focus on what truly matters. Discipline gives you control, and with that control comes freedom. You're no longer at the mercy of your emotions, your impulses, or the chaos around you. You choose your actions, your path, and your destiny. Every day, you commit to your goals. You set a plan, and you follow it. No excuses, no distractions. The world will try to pull you in 1,000 different directions, but discipline keeps you focused. I didn't wait for perfect conditions to train. I didn't wait for the right moment. I just trained every single day, no matter what. That's the power of discipline. It doesn't matter if you feel like it or not. You show up. You do the work. And that is what makes you stronger. True mental toughness isn't about avoiding pain. It's about facing it, overcoming it, and continuing to move forward. Discipline trains your mind to push through discomfort. It's easy to quit when things get tough, but it's in those moments that you must remain disciplined. The ability to keep going, even when it's hard, is what separates the strong from the weak. Discipline is your armor against the hardships of life. When you practice discipline, you start to master your mind. You stop reacting to the world around you, and you start responding with purpose. You control your thoughts, your emotions, and your actions. This is freedom. The freedom to stay calm, focused, and strong no matter what happens. The world might try to throw you off course, but with discipline, you stay centered. You choose how you respond. Discipline teaches you the importance of consistency. Success doesn't come from doing something great once. It comes from doing it every day. I didn't become who I am because I practiced when I felt like it. I became who I am because I practiced every day, no matter how I felt. Discipline is what builds that consistency. It's the daily effort that compounds over time to create lasting success. The strength that discipline gives you is not just physical, it's mental, emotional, and spiritual. You learn to say no to distractions, to temptation, to the things that pull you away from your purpose. Saying no is a form of discipline. It's the ability to protect your time, your energy, and your focus. It's what allows you to commit fully to your goals and your journey without getting sidetracked by what doesn't serve you. Discipline also teaches you to evaluate yourself, to reflect. It's not just about pushing through, it's about constantly checking if you're on the right path. Every day, I would ask myself, am I giving everything I've got? Am I improving? Discipline forces you to reflect, to look honestly at yourself, and to keep getting better. This self-awareness is key to growth. It's the power to identify your weaknesses and turn them into strengths. One of the greatest gifts discipline gives you is the ability to stay focused on long-term goals. Most people chase after short-term rewards, but the truly disciplined know that true success requires patience. It's a long journey, and the rewards come with time. Discipline helps you stay on that path, even when the progress seems slow. It keeps you grounded, reminding you that the big picture is more important than the immediate result. Mental toughness isn't just about pushing yourself harder. It's also about understanding your limits and knowing when to push through and when to rest. Discipline teaches you balance. You learn to work hard, but you also learn the importance of recovery. You become aware of your body, your mind, and your spirit, and you respect them enough to give them what they need. This is the true meaning of strength. Through discipline, you start to control your time. Time is our most valuable resource, yet most people waste it. But when you live with discipline, you're always aware of how you're using your time. Every action you take is purposeful, aligned with your goals. Discipline teaches you to prioritize what matters and to eliminate the things that steal your time and energy. Your time is your freedom, and discipline allows you to use it wisely. Discipline is what helps you overcome fear. Fear is a natural part of life, but with discipline, you don't let it control you. You face fear with calmness, with confidence. Discipline helps you act in the face of fear, to keep moving forward even when doubt tries to hold you back. It's not about being fearless. It's about being courageous enough to act despite fear. Discipline is the force that pushes you past your limitations. It also teaches you patience. The world moves fast, and people want quick results. But real success takes time. Discipline teaches you that the best things come to those who are willing to work for them day in and day out. There is no shortcut. You must be patient, and discipline is what gives you the ability to keep going when instant results aren't visible. It's the ability to stay on course, knowing that success is a matter of time and effort. Discipline also teaches self-control. You learn to control your emotions, your impulses, and your desires. The world will always try to pull you in different directions, but discipline gives you the strength to stay focused on what matters most. You don't let your emotions dictate your actions. Instead, you choose how to respond. This is what gives you mental freedom. The freedom to act from a place of purpose, not reaction. As you grow in discipline, you begin to understand its true power. It's not about restriction, it's about empowerment. Discipline gives you the ability to choose your path, to create your future. You stop being controlled by circumstances and start taking control of your life. This is the freedom Bruce Lee spoke of. The freedom that comes from mastering yourself, your thoughts, and your actions. Discipline is what separates the average from the extraordinary. It's what allows you to stay committed, to keep moving forward, even when things get tough. It's what builds mental toughness, emotional strength, and physical resilience. With discipline, you become unstoppable. You don't just wait for success to come to you. You create it, one disciplined action at a time. Discipline is the bridge between goals and accomplishment. It's not just about working hard, it's about working smart, staying focused, and doing what needs to be done, day after day. Through discipline, you build the mental toughness to push through challenges and the clarity to know exactly what you're working for. With discipline, you become your best self. Silence is not weakness. In fact, silence is where true strength resides. In a world filled with noise, distractions, and constant demands for attention, silence becomes a powerful tool. It's in the quiet moments where your true power is forged. When you stay silent, you allow your actions to speak louder than words. You don't need to shout to be heard. You let your presence be felt through your strength, your focus, and your resolve. Silence isn't about withdrawing from the world. It's about choosing what to let in. It's about controlling what affects you and not being pulled into every noise, every distraction. In silence, you find clarity. You find the space to think, to reflect, and to make decisions with purpose. This is the quiet power that sets you apart. The ability to act decisively without needing to explain or justify yourself. You let your actions speak, and that's what makes you strong. Patience is born in silence. In today's fast-paced world, everyone wants quick results. But if you want true strength, you must learn patience. Silence teaches you to wait for the right moment to act, to be aware of timing. Rushing through things only leads to mistakes. By practicing silence, you learn to hold back and move forward only when you're ready. This kind of discipline is what separates the wise from the reckless. When you embrace silence, you begin to hear more clearly. It's not just the world around you, it's the thoughts inside you. In the quiet, you can hear your intuition speaking to you, guiding you towards the right decision. Silence clears the noise in your mind, allowing you to make choices that align with your true purpose. Your instincts become sharper, and you move with precision. Silence is also about emotional control. Most people let their emotions dictate their actions, but real strength is in choosing your response. In silence, you give yourself the space to breathe, to pause, and to respond thoughtfully. You don't react impulsively. Instead, you act with calm and focus, never letting your emotions control you. This control over yourself is the true mark of strength. Being silent doesn't mean being passive. It means conserving your energy for the things that matter. Every time you choose to remain quiet, you're reserving your power for moments that require it. I never wasted energy on unnecessary words. True strength is in efficiency, using your resources wisely. When you stay quiet, you free up energy for meaningful action. Silence teaches you to observe. In the chaos of life, it's easy to get caught up in the rush. But when you step back, when you take a moment of silence, you gain a clearer perspective. You begin to notice things you might have missed in the noise, the subtle details, the opportunities, and the threats. Silence gives you the chance to observe and learn before taking action. Mastering silence also strengthens your sense of self. You don't need to talk all the time to prove your worth. Your actions, your discipline, and your inner strength speak for you. In silence, you find confidence. You know who you are, and you don't need external validation. My confidence came from within, from my quiet assurance in my own abilities. And that's the strength you can cultivate too. Silence is not about avoiding conflict. It's about knowing when to speak and when to remain quiet. There's power in choosing your moments carefully. I taught the importance of timing, whether in martial arts or in life. By staying silent, you create space to evaluate a situation, to understand it, and to act only when it is truly necessary. Your words become more powerful because you know when to use them. In silence, you become a better listener. Too often, people talk just to be heard. But in silence, you hear the world around you. You hear what others are really saying. By listening more than speaking, you gain understanding. And that understanding makes you a better leader, a better friend, and a better person. It's in the quiet that you truly connect with others. Through silence, you find peace. Life is loud, chaotic, and full of distractions. But in the stillness, you reconnect with your inner self. Peace is not something you find by running from the world. It's something you create within. When you're silent, you're no longer chasing the noise of the world. You're finding your own rhythm and strength. In the quiet, you develop resilience. Life will challenge you, and the temptation to react emotionally will always be there. But silence teaches you to pause, to breathe, and to regain composure before responding. It's in these moments of silence that your resilience is forged. You don't act out of anger or frustration. You act with calm strength, knowing that this is the true test of character. When you embrace silence, you also become more present. In a world filled with distractions, silence helps you stay focused on what truly matters. Whether you're training, working, or spending time with loved ones, Being present is the greatest gift you can give. Silence allows you to disconnect from everything else and immerse yourself fully in the moment. Silence is also where reflection happens. After any action, it's important to sit in silence and reflect on what you've learned. I was a master of self-reflection. I didn't just train physically. I reflected on my progress, my mistakes, and my victories. In silence, you find the clarity to grow and improve. Silence opens the door to creativity. When your mind is quiet, it can think freely. I often spoke about the importance of being open-minded, of not being confined by rigid ideas. Silence gives you the space to think outside the box, to imagine new possibilities, and to find innovative solutions to problems. Mastering silence allows you to avoid unnecessary conflicts. Many of the problems we face in life come from speaking out of turn, reacting too quickly, or engaging in disputes that don't matter. By practicing silence, you learn to pick your battles. You conserve your energy for what truly deserves it, and you avoid the petty distractions that drain your spirit. Silence builds focus. In a noisy world, it's easy to lose concentration. But when you practice silence, you sharpen your ability to stay focused on the task at hand. I didn't let the distractions of the world break my concentration. In silence, you find the power to remain completely immersed in whatever you're doing. Silence teaches you the true nature of strength. It's not about how loud you can shout or how many words you can say. True power comes from within, from the ability to remain calm, to listen, to observe, and to act with purpose. I mastered the art of quiet power, and through silence, you can master it too. Ego is a powerful force that can trap you. When you're attached to it, you begin to live for the validation of others. You begin to measure your worth by their opinions, and that makes you weak. True strength comes from within, from detaching yourself from the need to impress. When you stop worrying about what others think, you free yourself to live authentically, to act from your own truth, not from the desire to please others. You see, the more you hold on to your ego, the more you allow others to control your life. Your ego feeds on praise and shrinks with criticism. But when you detach from it, you stop seeking approval. You don't need others to tell you your worth. You become self-sufficient. The freedom you gain from letting go of your ego is the freedom to be who you truly are, without fear, without judgment. I never sought validation from anyone. I didn't need to prove myself to the world. My strength came from knowing who I was and where I was going. The ego thrives on competition and comparison. But when you detach from it, you stop comparing yourself to others. You become your own benchmark. You measure your progress against your own standards, not anyone else's. This is the path to true mastery. Ego makes you afraid of failure. It makes you take failure personally, as if it's a reflection of your worth. But when you detach from your ego, failure becomes a learning opportunity. You can fail without feeling diminished. You can grow without fear of embarrassment. This freedom from the ego allows you to embrace mistakes and use them to propel you forward instead of letting them hold you back. When you let go of your ego, you stop needing to be right. Ego clings to being right, to never admitting fault. But when you detach, you open yourself up to learning. You stop holding on to your ideas out of pride and start listening, observing, and evolving. The more you detach from the need to be right, the more you open yourself to growth. True strength comes from being open to change, not from being inflexible. Living without ego means acting without the need for others' approval. You act because you believe in the cause, not because you want recognition. Your actions speak for you, not your words. People who are attached to their egos are always talking about what they've done, trying to get others to notice. But when you let go of the ego, You become focused on doing, not boasting. Your work becomes your voice, and that voice speaks louder than any boastful words ever could. Detachment from the ego also means learning humility. When you're free from ego, you're no longer focused on your status, your image, or your importance. Humility allows you to accept that you don't have all the answers, that you can learn from everyone around you. When you detach from ego, you see others as equals, and you respect them for the lessons they can teach you. Humility is strength, because it opens you to infinite possibilities for growth. When you stop living for approval, you stop living in fear. The ego thrives on fear. Fear of rejection, fear of judgment, fear of not being enough. But when you detach from it, you no longer fear what others think. You no longer fear failure, and you no longer fear success. You are free to live without constraints. The more you detach from your ego, the more you find peace in knowing that your true worth cannot be defined by others. Your identity becomes clear when you detach from ego. Ego tells you that you are only valuable based on what you achieve, what you own, or how others perceive you. But the truth is, you are more than that. You are valuable because you exist. When you detach from ego, you understand this truth deeply, and that understanding gives you the power to walk your path without needing anyone's approval or permission. Detaching from ego allows you to act with integrity. When you are attached to ego, you often act in ways that are inconsistent with your true self, just to keep up appearances. But when you detach, you can act honestly, knowing that your actions are aligned with your values. Integrity is built on detachment because it allows you to act from your heart, not your need for validation. Letting go of the ego allows you to take risks. The ego tells you to play it safe, to avoid anything that could potentially hurt your image or reputation. But when you release it, you are free to take bold steps, to fail, and to grow. The fear of failure evaporates when the ego no longer controls you. This freedom is essential for growth, because without risk, there is no reward. Detaching from ego frees you from the constant need to prove your worth. Ego thrives on external recognition. But when you let go of it, you don't need others to tell you how great you are. You know your worth, and you act from that place. This self-assurance allows you to focus on what truly matters, like mastering your craft, helping others, and living with purpose. The freedom from ego allows you to live for yourself, not for others' approval. True freedom comes from detachment from ego. The more you hold on to your ego, the more you tie yourself to the approval and expectations of others. You allow them to control your actions and define your worth. But when you let go, you break free from this cycle. You become your own person, free to make your own choices and follow your own path. This freedom is the ultimate strength. Detaching from ego also brings clarity. Ego clouds your judgment with its need for validation and fear of judgment. When you detach, your mind becomes clear. You can see situations for what they truly are, without the distortion of pride or insecurity. This clarity allows you to make better decisions, to act with purpose, and to move forward with confidence. You stop wasting energy on things that don't matter and focus on what does. Letting go of your ego also means letting go of your attachment to outcomes. The ego demands results, and it ties your happiness to them. But when you detach, you are free to pursue your goals without the pressure of needing to succeed at any cost. You can find joy in the process, knowing that the journey itself is where the growth happens. This mindset frees you from the need to constantly measure your success. Detachment from ego gives you the power to forgive. The ego holds on to grudges, resents those who wrong you, and seeks revenge. But when you detach from it, you realize that forgiveness is a strength, not a weakness. Forgiveness allows you to move forward, to release the past, and to embrace the future. It frees you from the emotional weight that comes from holding on to anger or resentment. When you detach from your ego, you stop worrying about what others think of you. Ego makes you believe that your worth is tied to their perception of you. But when you let go of ego, you realize that their opinions do not define you. You become free to be yourself, to live without fear of judgment, and to act with authenticity. True power is found in detachment from ego. The ego keeps you chained to the opinions of others, to competition, and to the need to prove yourself. But when you detach, you are free. You are free to live for yourself, to act with integrity, to embrace failure as a lesson, and to grow into the best version of yourself. This is the freedom Bruce Lee spoke of, the freedom that comes from within. Emotions are natural, but when you let them control you, you become weak. True power comes from the ability to control your emotions, not let them control you. When you are ruled by anger, fear, or frustration, you lose your clarity and focus. The moment you let your emotions take over, you are no longer in control of your life. But when you master them, you gain the strength to remain calm in the face of adversity, and you can act with precision and purpose. The first step to controlling your emotions is awareness. You must recognize when your emotions arise and understand why they're there. Without this awareness, you can never control them. Know what you're feeling and why you're feeling it. When you can do that, you can choose how to respond instead of letting your emotions dictate your actions. This is the beginning of true emotional mastery. Emotional control is also about patience. In a world that constantly demands quick reactions, it takes discipline to pause before acting. You don't need to react instantly. Take a moment to breathe, to center yourself, and then respond with clarity. This pause, this stillness, is where power is found. When you act from a place of calm, you make better decisions and stay focused on your true goals. The key to emotional control is understanding that emotions are temporary. Anger, fear, sadness, all of them come and go. When you detach from the emotional storm, you see things more clearly. When you allow yourself to feel but not act impulsively, you free yourself to make better choices. Do not let emotions overwhelm you. They are fleeting, and you are stronger than they are. When you master your emotions, you stop seeking external validation. Ego thrives on praise, and it shrinks in the face of criticism. When you detach from the need for approval, you stop letting others control your emotional state. My confidence was never rooted in how others saw me. It came from within, from knowing who I was and trusting my path. When you stop letting others dictate how you feel, you unlock your true strength. Fear is a powerful emotion that holds many people back. It stops them from taking risks, from pursuing their dreams. But fear does not need to control you. I never allowed fear to dictate my actions. Fear is a natural response, but it is not a reason to stop moving forward. When you master your emotions, you use fear as fuel to sharpen your focus, to push yourself further, and to grow stronger. In stressful situations, emotional control helps you maintain perspective. It's easy to become overwhelmed when everything feels out of control. But when you practice emotional control, you can step back and assess the situation with clarity. You don't react in panic or frustration. You stay calm, evaluate your options, and take measured action. This ability to remain steady is what gives you an advantage when facing challenges. Emotional control doesn't mean suppressing your feelings. It's about recognizing your emotions and choosing how to respond. I've always believed that it's not about ignoring how you feel, but about channeling those feelings productively. Anger, frustration, or sadness, these are all natural emotions, but when you can control them, you use them to fuel your strength rather than letting them derail you. When you allow your emotions to control you, you act out of impulse. You may say things you don't mean, or make decisions you regret. But when you control your emotions, you take a moment to think before acting. You respond thoughtfully, not emotionally. This is the true mark of strength, the ability to act with purpose, regardless of what's going on inside or around you. One of the greatest benefits of emotional control is the freedom it brings. When you stop being controlled by your feelings, you become free to live your life on your own terms. You stop being a slave to your moods and reactions. You can rise above circumstances and stay focused on your goals, no matter what life throws at you. Emotional control also allows you to be more present. When your mind is consumed with emotion, you can't be fully engaged with the moment. You're either stuck in the past, reliving past hurts, or worrying about the future. But when you control your emotions, you are fully immersed in the present, able to focus on what's important right now. This presence is where true power lies. Resilience is built on emotional control. Life will knock you down. You will face hardships, setbacks, and disappointments. But how you respond to those challenges is what defines you. Emotional control allows you to stay strong in the face of adversity, to rise after a fall, and to keep moving forward. With emotional control, setbacks become opportunities for growth rather than reasons to quit. To control your emotions is to take responsibility for your actions. When you let your emotions control you, you blame external circumstances for your behavior. But emotional control means owning your responses. You take full responsibility for how you react to every situation. This is where true power lies, in owning your emotions and using them to shape your destiny. The ability to control your emotions also means having the strength to forgive. Holding on to anger or resentment only gives your emotions more power over you. When you forgive, you free yourself from the burden of past hurt. You choose peace over bitterness. Bruce Lee wasn't a man of grudges. His emotional control allowed him to move on quickly from any injustice, using his energy to focus on the future, not the past. Control over your emotions gives you the power to remain focused on your goals. Emotions are powerful, but they can be a distraction. When you allow them to run wild, they pull your attention away from what truly matters. But when you control your emotions, you stay focused on your purpose. Bruce Lee's ability to remain focused, even under extreme pressure, was a direct result of his mastery over his emotions. By mastering your emotions, you also master your mind. Your emotions are often the first thing that clouds your judgment and pulls you off track. When you control them, you free your mind to think clearly, to strategize, and to make decisions based on logic rather than impulse. Emotional control sharpens your mind and allows you to navigate life's challenges with greater ease. The more you practice emotional control, the more you begin to understand yourself. You learn where your emotional triggers lie, and you develop strategies to handle them. Bruce Lee was a master of understanding himself, his strengths, his weaknesses, and his emotional responses. By learning to control your emotions, you too can learn to understand yourself better, leading to greater wisdom and strength. Emotional control is essential for true leadership. A leader must be able to stay calm under pressure, make decisions based on reason, and inspire others to act with purpose. When you master your emotions, you become an effective leader, not only in your own life, but for others as well. Bruce Lee's emotional control allowed him to lead by example, inspiring those around him with his calm, focused demeanor. Emotional control gives you the ultimate freedom, the freedom to act from your true self. When your emotions are in control, you are no longer ruled by fear, anger, or pride. You act from a place of strength and clarity, true to who you are. Bruce Lee's life was a testament to this freedom, as he lived authentically, without being swayed by his emotions or the opinions of others. This is the true power of emotional control. the freedom to be yourself, no matter what. Many people focus too much on the end result, on the goal, thinking that's where the success lies. But real strength, real success, comes from focusing on the journey, not the destination. The process of growth, the effort, the struggle, that is where the real magic happens. If you focus only on the goal, you miss the beauty and power of the journey. When you embrace the process, you open yourself to growth every single day. And that is where true mastery begins. The journey is where you build your character. Every challenge, every failure, every obstacle is a chance to become better. I didn't just focus on winning, I focused on becoming better each day. The more I focused on the process, the less concerned I was with the outcome. It's the small steps, the daily grind, that shape you into who you are. If you fall in love with the process, then the outcome takes care of itself. You cannot become truly great if you only look at the end result. The beauty of life is in the process. The small victories you gain every day, the moments of learning, and the improvement you experience over time. People often look at me and see my achievements, but what they don't see are the thousands of hours I spent perfecting my craft. The success is in the work, not the result. Focus on the process, and the outcome will follow. The process teaches you patience. In a world that wants instant results, patience is a rare skill. But you must learn to trust the journey, to understand that success doesn't happen overnight. I didn't become great in a day, and neither can you. The process is where you learn that progress is slow, but it's steady. By focusing on the journey, you accept that growth takes time and that each step forward counts, no matter how small. The joy is not in reaching the goal, but in the effort it takes to get there. If you're only after the destination, you will never be content. When you focus on the process, you learn to appreciate every step, every lesson learned along the way. There will always be setbacks, but those setbacks are not failures. They are part of the journey. Embrace the process, and you will find fulfillment in the journey itself. When you focus on the process, you let go of the pressure to be perfect. People who only focus on the goal put too much pressure on themselves. They want immediate success, but they forget that perfection is a moving target. By focusing on the process, you allow yourself the freedom to make mistakes and learn from them. Perfection doesn't come from hitting the goal immediately, but from continuous improvement through the journey. The journey is where your character is tested. Anyone can get lucky and achieve a goal, but it's the process that reveals who you really are. It's easy to act when everything is going well, but true strength is shown when things are difficult. When you face challenges and continue to push forward, you build mental toughness. The journey forces you to confront your weaknesses, and it's through that process that you grow stronger. If you focus only on the outcome, you miss out on the small wins that happen along the way. I didn't wait for a big victory to feel fulfilled. Every small improvement, every tiny step forward, was a victory in itself. By focusing on the process, you learn to celebrate the little moments of progress. It's these small wins that build the foundation for bigger successes. Enjoy the process, and the journey will become its own reward. The journey teaches you to embrace failure. If you focus only on the goal, failure feels like the end. But when you focus on the process, failure becomes a lesson, a necessary part of the journey. I failed many times before I succeeded, but each failure taught me something valuable and helped me grow. Failure is not the end, it's just another part of the journey. Learn to embrace it, and you will become stronger because of it. Focusing on the journey also helps you remain grounded. The outcome may be out of your control, but the effort you put into the process is something you can control. When you focus on the work, not the reward, You stop seeking external validation. You no longer need others to measure your success. Your worth is not defined by the result. It's defined by your effort, your discipline, and your commitment to the process. By focusing on the process, you learn to enjoy the present moment. Too often we are consumed by what we want to achieve in the future, but the present moment is where life is happening. The journey is happening now, not in the future. When you focus on the process, you bring your attention to the present, to what you can do right now to improve. And in doing so, you live a more fulfilled, purposeful life. When you focus on the journey, you learn that success is a byproduct of your commitment to the process, not the goal itself. People often chase the idea of success, but they don't realize that success is the result of consistent effort over time. It's not the trophy at the end, but the work you put in each day that defines your true success. The process is the real goal, and the outcome will follow naturally. The process is where your focus lies, and your focus creates your future. Too many people look to the end result as the only thing that matters, but that is just a fleeting moment. The process, however, is what lasts. It's where the real transformation happens. Bruce Lee always said that you must be like water, adapting to whatever situation comes your way and staying focused on the flow, not the destination. Focusing on the process also helps you build discipline. Discipline is the ability to keep showing up, even when you don't feel like it. When you focus on the process, you develop the habit of consistent effort. You learn to push through the tough days, knowing that every effort brings you one step closer to mastery. Discipline is not built through occasional bursts of effort, but through steady dedication to the process. The process teaches you resilience. Life will not always go according to plan, but the journey teaches you how to adapt, how to rise after setbacks. When you focus on the journey, you learn to keep moving forward, regardless of the obstacles. Bruce Lee faced many hardships, but he never lost focus on the process. He knew that resilience comes from the commitment to the journey, not from avoiding difficulties. By focusing on the process, you also learn the value of consistency. Success is not about achieving greatness in a single moment, but about the dedication you put in day after day. Bruce Lee didn't become a legend because of one victory. He became a legend because he practiced consistently, every single day. Focusing on the process teaches you the power of consistency, and through consistency, greatness is achieved. The journey helps you build character. Goals are often external, but the process is internal. It's in the process that you discover your true strength, your patience, your resilience, and your discipline. Focusing on the journey helps you become the person you need to be to achieve the goal. The goal is just the end result. The journey is where you build the foundation of who you are. The journey is where you discover your purpose. Bruce Lee didn't become great by focusing on the trophies or the recognition. He focused on mastering himself and becoming the best version of himself. When you focus on the process, you align with your true purpose, not just external achievements. The process gives you the space to grow, to evolve, and to become the person you are meant to be. Limits exist only in the mind. Most of the limitations you feel are not truths. They are barriers you've created for yourself. The first step to breaking those limitations is understanding who you are. Know yourself, but never limit yourself. When you define yourself by your weaknesses or the things that others tell you are impossible, you imprison yourself. True power comes from realizing that these limitations are only temporary, and once you break free from them, you become limitless. The key is understanding your potential and how far you can go. You are not bound by what others say you are capable of. I've faced my own limits many times, but I always chose to challenge them, to break them. I didn't let society or tradition define my path. The true strength lies in knowing that whatever you believe you can do, you can achieve, if you let go of the limits you place on yourself. To truly know yourself is to acknowledge your weaknesses and strengths. But knowing yourself doesn't mean being restricted by them. You must understand where you're strong and where you need improvement, but you should never use these insights as excuses to hold yourself back. I knew my limitations, but I also knew that I was more than those limitations. I didn't stop. I adapted, I grew, and I continued pushing forward, always breaking the barriers I had set for myself. You must break away from the fear of failure. That's one of the most limiting beliefs people hold on to. The fear of not succeeding. Failure is not the end. It's part of the journey. Every setback I faced was an opportunity to learn and improve. So let go of the fear that you won't make it, because that fear will paralyze you and stop you from ever trying. You must learn to embrace failure as part of the process of becoming great. The moment you stop limiting yourself, you realize there are no boundaries but those you place in your mind. Your potential is limitless, and every goal you set can be achieved if you choose to fight for it. It's not the goal that defines you. It's the effort you put into reaching that goal. The work, the persistence, and the belief in yourself. If you are willing to push past what others think is possible, you will find that there is no limit to what you can do. The moment you stop comparing yourself to others is when you truly begin to let go of your limitations. Don't define your success by how others are doing. I didn't look at other fighters to define my success. I measured my success by my own standards and my own progress. Never limit yourself by comparing yourself to others. They have their own journey, and you have yours. Your past failures do not define your future. Too many people limit themselves because they believe that because they failed once, they will fail again. I failed many times, but I refused to let those failures stop me. I used them to learn, to grow, and to become stronger. When you let go of your fear of failure, you free yourself to push beyond what you thought were your limits. The greatest limitation we face is the one we place on ourselves. You may tell yourself you cannot do something, but that is just your mind holding you back. Challenge that voice. I didn't let the world tell me who I should be. I created my own path, and by doing that, I proved that limits are only illusions. The moment you stop believing in your limits, you begin to see the endless possibilities that are available to you. Sometimes, the greatest obstacle to growth is the attachment to comfort. When you are comfortable, you stop pushing yourself. You settle for what's easy instead of striving for greatness. I always pushed myself beyond what felt comfortable. I worked until I was exhausted, and then I pushed myself further. You can only grow by stepping out of your comfort zone. Let go of the idea that comfort equals safety. Real strength is born from the willingness to face discomfort. Breaking free from your limitations also means releasing the need for external validation. You do not need others to approve of your actions. You do not need praise to know that you are on the right path. I never looked for external validation. I did what felt right to me, and that's what allowed me to break free from all limitations. The moment you stop waiting for others to approve is the moment you truly take control of your destiny. It's not just about physical strength. It's also about mental and emotional strength. Your mind has the power to break through the walls you set for yourself. When you believe in yourself and your ability to grow, you free yourself from the chains of self-doubt. Focus on developing your mind, your spirit, and your discipline, and you will break through every limitation you thought existed. By letting go of limitations, you become the creator of your own destiny. Every day is a new opportunity to redefine what is possible. I didn't look at my past achievements as my peak. I looked at them as the foundation for what was to come. Each day, I tried to be better, to learn more, and to push beyond what I thought were my limits. This commitment to continuous growth is what allowed me to transcend any boundaries. True strength is found in your willingness to continuously grow, to continuously push your limits, and to continuously learn. The moment you stop believing in limits is the moment you free yourself from the chains that hold you back. Don't let your past, your fears, or your doubts dictate what you can achieve. Let them fuel your journey, not limit it. If you want to break free from limitations, you must be willing to take risks. Most people never reach their potential because they are afraid to take the first step. The unknown is terrifying, but it is also where growth happens. I never feared the unknown. I embraced it. When you let go of the limitations created by fear, you discover just how far you can really go. When you know yourself, you understand your strengths and weaknesses. But knowing yourself doesn't mean settling into the comfort of what you already know. Knowing yourself means recognizing your potential for growth. You must see beyond your current self and believe that you are capable of evolving. There is always more to learn, always more to grow. Never stop reaching for the next level. Letting go of limitations is about recognizing that you are more than your circumstances. Your environment, your upbringing, or any external factor does not define your potential. I didn't allow where I came from to limit where I could go. When you stop allowing your circumstances to define you, you tap into your true power, and you realize that you are capable of achieving anything you set your mind to. The only true limitation is the one you accept. As long as you continue to believe that something is impossible, you will never reach it. But the moment you challenge that belief is when you start to unlock your true potential. I spent my life breaking barriers, not just in martial arts, but in every aspect of my life. The limits were never real. They were just in my mind, and they were meant to be broken. Letting go of limitations means committing to the idea that you are limitless. The boundaries you see around you are not real. They are obstacles created by your fears and doubts. When you challenge these boundaries and push past them, you realize that you are capable of far more than you ever thought possible. The power is within you to break through any limitation and to keep pushing forward. True freedom comes from letting go of the idea that you can't do something. The world will try to tell you what is possible and what is not, but you have the power to define your own possibilities. Once you embrace the mindset that you are limitless, you can accomplish anything. That is the freedom that comes from letting go of limitations. Chaos is a natural part of life. It surrounds us constantly. But the real challenge is not to avoid it, but to remain calm within it. In the middle of the storm, you must find your stillness. True power is not in reacting to chaos, but in staying grounded amidst it. This is where inner peace comes from. Not in the absence of chaos, but in the ability to maintain your calm despite it. First, understand that chaos is inevitable. It's in everything, in the world, in people, and sometimes even within yourself. The key is to accept it, not resist it. When you resist chaos, it controls you. But when you accept it, you stop being disturbed by it. You can remain calm and focused, like a rock in the middle of a storm. Chaos is just part of the natural flow of life. Let it be. To remain calm in the middle of chaos, you must master your mind. A chaotic mind will always lead to chaotic actions. I trained my mind just as much as my body. The key is to control your thoughts, to focus on what matters, and to ignore the distractions. When your mind is disciplined, nothing can shake your inner peace. You become unmovable, regardless of the noise around you. Breath is one of the most powerful tools to stay calm. In moments of chaos, your breath becomes shallow and rapid. But when you focus on your breath, you regain control. Deep, slow breathing brings calmness to the body and mind. When you find yourself in the midst of a storm, take a deep breath. Breathe in, breathe out, and allow your mind to reset. Breath is the bridge between chaos and peace. Being calm in chaos doesn't mean being passive. It means choosing your response. Most people react emotionally when faced with stress or pressure, but true strength lies in responding with clarity and purpose, not with impulsiveness. I never acted out of anger or fear. I always took a moment to reflect before responding, no matter how intense the situation. This is the power of calmness in action. When you face challenges, don't focus on the outcome. Focus on the process. I trained not for the result, but for the art itself. The process is where peace is found, in the effort, in the learning, in the growth. Chaos may distract you, but when you focus on the journey, you learn to appreciate the lessons and grow stronger, even in difficult times. True peace is not the absence of problems, but the ability to stay centered despite them. When chaos surrounds you, it is easy to feel lost or overwhelmed. But I learned that peace comes when you stop reacting and start controlling your inner state. The more you can detach from external chaos, the more control you gain over your emotions and actions. Don't be afraid of the chaos. It's just a challenge to test your resolve. Life is constantly changing, and chaos is part of that. Instead of resisting, flow with it. Like water, which is powerful yet calm, you must adapt to whatever comes your way. The chaos will always be there, but when you learn to be calm within it, you become unstoppable. The moment you stop letting chaos affect you, you find true freedom. External forces will always try to pull you off course, but your ability to stay calm keeps you aligned with your purpose. Focus on what you can control: your actions, your response, your mindset. By letting go of the need to control everything, you find peace in the unknown. Inner peace in chaos requires discipline. Discipline is the ability to stay on course no matter what happens. When you face difficulties, don't let them break you. Use them as fuel to strengthen your resolve. The more you practice discipline, the easier it becomes to maintain your inner peace in the midst of any storm. Discipline gives you the clarity to move forward with purpose. Patience is another key to peace. In chaotic moments, we often feel the need to act quickly or solve everything immediately. But true strength lies in patience, knowing that everything unfolds in its own time. I never rushed through the process. I trusted in the journey, knowing that by staying calm and patient, I would reach my destination, no matter how long it took. The most important lesson I learned is that peace comes from within. Chaos is an external force, but inner peace is a choice. You cannot control the world, but you can control how you respond to it. When you master your inner state, you become invincible. The chaos may surround you, but it cannot touch you. You are the calm at the center of the storm. Find stillness in the chaos. I often took time to sit in silence and reflect. In these moments, I disconnected from the world's noise and reconnected with myself. Silence is not just about not speaking. It's about quieting the mind. When you sit in stillness, you find peace. And that peace is what allows you to act with clarity and strength when the world is at its loudest. Let go of the need to control everything. Chaos is the result of trying to control things beyond your influence. Accept that some things are out of your hands. When you stop trying to control the uncontrollable, you find peace in letting go. Life will always throw you curveballs, but when you accept them and adapt, you remain calm and focused, no matter the situation. Being calm in chaos requires trust. Trust in yourself, trust in the process, and trust that things will work out in the end. Trust that no matter how difficult life becomes, you have the strength to face it. Bruce Lee didn't become great by avoiding challenges. He became great by embracing them with calm determination. Trust in your ability to navigate through the storm and remain grounded. Embrace the present moment. Chaos often comes from worrying about what's coming next or dwelling on the past. But the present moment is where true power lies. When you stay present, you are no longer distracted by what might happen or what has already passed. Focus on what is in front of you, and in doing so, you'll find peace amidst the noise. Remember that peace is a practice. It's not something you achieve once and forget. Maintaining inner peace requires constant effort. Every day, you must choose calm over chaos, stillness over turbulence. Just like I practiced my martial arts every day, you must practice the art of peace. It is a skill that must be honed and cultivated. The chaos will always be there. What matters is how you respond to it. You cannot control external events, but you can control your reaction. The more you practice peace, the easier it becomes to stay calm when life gets chaotic. Your ability to stay grounded is what separates you from the storm. When you are calm, nothing can shake your resolve. Let chaos be your teacher. Instead of seeing chaos as something to fear, see it as a tool for growth. Chaos forces you to develop resilience, patience, and focus. Through chaos, you learn how to stay calm, how to navigate through uncertainty, and how to remain true to your purpose. Peace is not about avoiding chaos. It is about mastering your response to it. Stay true to yourself. The world around you may change, and chaos may come, but your sense of self should remain unshaken. When you know who you are and are rooted in your purpose, nothing can disturb your peace. Life's external chaos may swirl around you, but with a steady mind and a calm heart, you stand firm and unmovable. You've learned the principles. Now it's up to you. The journey is never easy, but remember, strength doesn't come from avoiding challenges. It comes from facing them head-on. By applying these teachings, you will discover a power within you that's unshakable. The world will throw its punches, but you will remain unbothered, focused, and calm. As I always say, absorb what is useful, discard what is not, and add what is uniquely your own. Now, take these principles and make them yours. Stay disciplined, stay powerful, and never let anything affect you. The path to greatness is always under your feet. Keep moving forward.